In this video, we'll be looking at conditional aggregations in Excel. First up, we have SUMIF, which sums the values based on a single condition. Next up is SUMIFs, which sums values based on multiple conditions. Third, we have COUNTIF, which counts cells that meet a single condition. Fourth up, we have COUNTIFs, which counts cells that meet multiple conditions. And fifth, we have AVERAGEIF, which averages values based on a single condition. And lastly, AVERAGEIFs, that averages values based on multiple conditions. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so we have the data we'll be working with for this video. And the first question we're going to be looking at is qualified before 2024. And that means is we want to figure out the total deal size of our pipeline for opportunities that were qualified before 2024. So what we're going to do here is go into this cell here. And we'll be using the SUMIF function for this, equals SUMIF. And there's three parts to a SUMIF. There's the range, criteria, and the sum range. So the range is, okay, where are we looking at for the specific criteria? And we are looking at the date qualified column. So go over here to F2, bring it on down, put in a comma, and we have to now say what's the criteria. And we want to find anything before 2024. So what we could do is in quotes, we could do the less than symbol and type in 1/1/2024, since that's the first day of 2024. Close up the quotes, put in a comma, and okay, we have the criteria and the range. What are we trying to sum up? We are trying to sum up the deal size column. So let's go here, take that all up, close it up, and let's take a look. And there we go. So we can see right here that just a little bit over $1 million was qualified before 2024. Next up, we have qualified before 2023 and 50% or more probability. So in this situation, we have two different criteria we're looking at, right? We have to qualify before 2023 and also 50% more than probability. So let's go right over here into the cell. And this one will be SUMIFs. If you remember from the beginning of the video, SUMIFs looks at multiple criterias. However, there's one small little difference. And for SUMIFs, the sum range is actually the first part of the formula. So we're once again looking at the deal size. So I will take this up as the range we want to sum. And for now on, I could put in as many criteria as I want. I can even do like 5, 6, 7. But in this situation, we just need 2. So the first one is, what is the criteria range? The first one is looking at qualified before 2023, which is similar to the one before. We are looking at date qualified. And we're putting a comma in quotes. We will do the less than symbol, 1/1/2023. Close it up, put another comma. And now we can enter in our second criteria, which was 50% or more of the probability stage. In this way, we look at the probability column. So I'll take G2 down there, put in a comma. And in my quotes, I'm going to do something pretty similar where I actually want to do something a little bit different. So I want 50% or more. So what I'm going to do here is do the greater than symbol. And I'm going to do 0.5. Close it up. And have all my criteria right there. Let's enter this and see what we get. And we get 116,000. So it tells us, okay, how much of our pipeline was actually generated before 2023 and has a 50% or more probability. Next up, we want to know how many deals are located in California. And before we use the SUMIF and SUMIFs function, this time we're using the COUNTIF function. So we'll go right here into the cell, let me move the cursor a little bit, equals COUNTIF. And this one's a little bit different. We are not finding a sum range because we're not summing anything. We're just counting. So we'll just need the range and the criteria. And in this one, the range will be the state column. So C2, all the way down, put in a comma, CA, close it up. And there you go, we get 11. So there's 11 deals currently in our pipeline that are located in California. Next up, we want to know how many deals are in Houston and have 5,000 or more employees. So for this one, I'll go right over here into the cell. And before we use COUNTIF, and in this one, we'll be using COUNTIFs. So I'll do equals COUNTIFs. And just like before with some ifs, we could write in as many different criteria as we want. And we get right into the first one, which is we have to find out which ones are in Houston. So the first criteria range is we're looking over at the city column. So I'll start at B2, go all the way down, put in a comma, and I'm going to type in Houston, another comma. So that takes care of the first criteria. And the second one is looking at the employee count. And we're looking around, we don't see an employee count column, but we can see that company size is the one that we're looking for. So over here, we'll start at H2, go all the way down, put in a comma. And for this one, we want 5,000 or more. So we will do the greater than symbol, 5,000, close it up, take a look, and we get 2. Okay, let me make that into a number. There we go. So right there. So there are currently 2 deals in our pipeline that are in Houston and have 5,000 or more employees. Next up, we want to find out what the average deal size is for Evan Wright. Let's go right into here. And if you kind of could pick up on the tendencies here, we started with some if and some ifs, then went to count, and to finish us off, we're looking at average if. So we're going to do equals average if. And looking at this one, it's very, very similar to some ifs. We have the range and criteria, and then the average range. So first things up, we're looking at the range. So, okay, what's the criteria we're looking for? We're focusing on Evan Wright. Evan Wright is over in column D. So let's take up sales rep column. Go right there. Comma. Let's type in Evan Wright. Comma. And what is the range you're trying to find an average of? It's the deal size column. So column E, all the way down. Close it up. Take a look. And there we go. So his average deal size is around $72,000 for each deal that he has. And the last question we're going to answer here is what's the average employees per deal in California for Charlie Davis? And for this one, we did average if on the question before. This one we'll be using average ifs. So let's start off with equals average ifs. And just like I said, just like some if and some ifs, we start off with the average range for the first part of the formula. And think about this, okay, like we see the first part right here. We see the word deal, employees, all these things are sort of like, okay, what are we actually trying to find the average of? Average employees, which is based off the company size column. So let's start here in H2, go all the way down. And now I can start my criterias. So the first one up is, it says basically we have to look in California and Charlie Davis. So I like to kind of go left to right. So I'll do California first. So that first criteria range will be the state. So C2, all the way down. Put in a comma, in quotes, CA, another comma. And the second criteria range will be based off Charlie Davis, which is the sales rep. So deal D2, all the way down. Put in a comma, Charlie Davis. Close it up and let's take a look. And there we go. So we get around 4,896. Now there's a little bit of an issue. It's in a currency, right? If we're going to send this off to somebody, it needs to be in the proper format. So let's go into here, throw a little comma on there. Boom, boom. And there we go. That's the right way to show off this number. So you've made it halfway through this course. And I really, really appreciate you guys sticking around for this. Make sure to look at the next section as you'll take a little quiz to quiz you on the information you've learned so far. And I'll see you over on the next video.